Mary is able to assess for the ultimate goal of students reading, writing, thinking, and speaking critically about global topics by providing them a learning menu activity in which they had to read the material, think critically, and then produce in some form of writing. This caused them not only to take their own education into their own hands, but also to provide proof that they understood what they read and they were understanding what they were writing. By providing options like brochures, websites, graphic organizers, Mary was able to expose them to multiple types of assessment, which in the process prepared them for just about any class they would experience, whether it was in middle school or eventually in high school and college. These options caused them to take, again, their education in their own hands by allowing them to be creative, yet still being able to follow some set rules in order to prove that they were actually learning on their own and understanding rather than just reading and regurgitating the information down on a piece of paper. So again, this learning menu activity that Mary came up with basically came down to the ideal that you really need to give student choices to differentiate instruction, because by giving those options, she gave the students the freedom to work at their own pace, and thus there was less stress from the deadlines that if a whole entire class was working on a project and they had to be all done at the same time, there would be various students who would struggle with this because they would feel the pressure of not being able to be creative or feeling like they just don't have enough time. But by providing these options, it gave students the time to think critically, to piece together and organize every thought that they had before they wrote it down on a page, instead of being hustled and pressured to get these graphic organizers done before they got the brochures done, before they had to take the quiz to get to the next section, to get to the test at the end. It's fast-paced. I know being in special education, it's difficult for special ed students to really do this. I mean, they have a hard time with organization of their ideals, and so they struggle to keep pace with the other students, and eventually they end up giving up. So by giving students options to show what they know, then they just feel less stressed. They feel more like the teacher's understanding of their learning types. Again, by being in special education, I know that in a special education classroom, we already have enough differentiated plans and ideals and techniques that I've seen various types of this learning menu activity, but nothing to this extent that this teacher Mary really took it to. I mean, she really just took it outside of the social studies area and expanded it to English, to math, to science, to social studies, to everything. And I could see taking this learning menu activity into other classrooms, like the English classroom or the science classroom, and basically working with the co-teachers, the general ed teachers, to develop a plan that the high school students I teach will actually be able to complete and work with, and eventually feel that what they're producing is what they're supposed to be learning, and hopefully that they're motivated enough to do that, to take that own learning inside their hands, and to know that the skills that the teacher is providing them is the ones that they're going to need after high school.